probability density function. Okay, so they will give you, like, for example, if you look at example 2, let's go hand in hand with example 2. Okay, probability density function, fx is equal to x squared over 9. Okay, when you talk about probability function, that means you are talking about probability of a specific value of x, that kind of thing. So what should the probability function be? Okay, number 1, fx is equal to x squared over 9. So what is the criteria for this function to be qualified as a probability density function? And they always will define probability function for an interval of the random variable. That is, for this case, the x is between 0 and 3. So if it's talking about the probability, what should the probability be? What should the function be? The function is, make sure that for all value of x, fx must be greater than or equal to 0. Can the probability be less than 0? The answer is no. So is this a probability density function? Does it satisfy the first one? Yes. Whatever value of x I put in, fx is greater than 0. Correct? So this is called the first criteria. Second criteria. What is the second criteria? What is the second criteria? So I have this graph. So the whole graph is above the x-axis. All right? So what is the second criteria? You're talking about probability. What is the second criteria? Must be what? Must be what? My variable A here vary from 0 to 3. So if I got probability density function, I want to find sum of the probability. How am I going to do for this case? How do you find the sum? Integrate, yes. So second criteria, integration of the function, probability density function, based on the possible value of the variable, must be equal to 1. If it's not, then it's not a probability density function. It's not a valid. So it cannot jump from 2 first. It must start with the first criteria first. If the first criteria is not qualified, is not satisfied, you don't want to talk about the second criteria. Are you clear? First, the probability density function for all possible value of x must be greater than 0. Second, the sum of the probability, that means the area bounded by the curve, okay, for that particular domain of x, or we call it the variable, the possible value of the variable, it must be equal to 1. And how are we going to find the probability? We integrate. Clear? So that is how you do this part. Can or not? So can you please tell me whether this is a valid probability density function or not? So for this, just now, the first one is true. Okay, all is above the x-axis. Second one, is it true? Do you get 0? Do you get 1? Yes. Yeah. Yes. Do you know how to integrate this? Sure. If you remember your integration or not? Sure. So this one is, if I integrate 0 to 3 x squared over 9 dx, I will get power plus 1 divided by the power 0 to 3. Okay, so it will be 27 over 27 minus 0. So it's equal to 1. So valid. So these two criteria must be fulfilled. So other than that, if you want to find the probability, you just have to integrate from one limit to another limit. So now, based on this, I'm going to continue. Can you tell me from this example too, if I want the probability of x equal to 2, what is the answer? What is the answer? 4 over 9? Sure. So now let's go back to what do you mean by probability of x equal to 2? So it means that probability of x from 2 to 2. Am I right? So if I go there, come to the sense of integration, this is my probability density function. So I have to integrate from 2 to 2, x squared over 9 dx. So what will I get? What is the area of a straight line? 0. So when we talk about continuous random variable, correct? The probability that a particular value of that random variable happen is 0. It's not okay, it's 0. So that is something that you have to bear in mind. It's very different from discrete, correct? Hello? So can you tell me, if I say, is the following true? Are they the same? Is it true? It's true. Because the probability for x for a particular value to happen is equal to 0. So that means whether got equal sign or no equal sign, it doesn't matter at all in this case. So that means if I want to find probability of x greater than or equal to 1.1 and less than 2, I still will do this definite integral. If I want to find 1.1, I still will do this definite integral. So they are equal. The reason is the probability for a continuous random variable to happen at a particular value is equal to 0. So that is something that you have to bear in mind. So when you talk about continuous random variable, whether it is true, it is got equal or no equal sign, actually it doesn't matter at all. Do you get me? So first, so I repeat, if a question give me a probability density function, how am I going to justify whether it is a valid probability density function or not? First of all, I must take note within the given value of the variable. Make sure the probability density function all must be greater than 0. That is the first criteria. Second criteria, okay, that is the first one. If the first one is out, the whole thing is out. Second criteria, if the first one is in, check the second one. Is the sum of the probability equal to 1? How to get the sum of the probability? Integrate. Find the area bounded by the probability density function. That is how you find the probability for a particular range of value of variable to happen. So in this chapter, we will not say a specific value of the random variable. We will give you a range of the variable. Are you clear? Can or not? We'll give you a range. Because in the past year, correct, they got ask you to explain why probability of x equal to 2 is equal to 0. So you have to explain like that. You have to explain in this way. Use the idea of integration. Okay? Can or not? Okay, so exercise 8B.1. Should I go to 8B.2 also? Okay, I let you go through 8B.1 first. Okay.
Recording in progress.
You see question 3, this question is very nasty now. I told you already, how am I going to know whether the probability density function is valid? I should do 3B first before I do 3A. Am I right? So you see that this question, they purposely ask you to do 3A first. So if I do 3B, if I plot the graph, correct? Yeah, is fx equal to sin 2x. Okay, pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2. Yeah, the graph will go this way. The graph will go 0 to maximum to 0 to minimum to 0 to maximum to 0. Look. Yep. Correct. So for x between pi by 2 to pi, yep, fx is less than 0. So therefore, it is not a valid probability density function because the first criteria is not fulfilled. So that's why I say you want to justify whether a function is a valid probability density function or not. First of all, you have to sketch the function. Make sure the whole graph is above the x-axis for all possible value of the variable. Got it? So that is how you do question 3. This question very bad. All right. Jump into the second conclusion first. So make sure the first one is valid before you can go into the second one. Are you okay? Okay. So that is question 3. Student, question 3A, when the question asks you to show, correct, integrate 0 to 3 pi by 2, sin 2x dx. So what you need to do is, you really have to integrate. Integrate sin, you get negative cos, correct? Angle 2x, then divide by 2. 0, 3 pi by 2. Okay, you will be negative cos 2 times 3 pi by 2 divide by 2, take away negative cos 0 divide by 2. All right, this one will be half plus half, so equal to 1. That's it. Are you clear? So that is how you show part A. Then you, for part B, you draw the graph, then you say this. So therefore, it is not a valid probability density function. So even if you feel sum of the probability equal to sum of the one within that domain equal to 1, that doesn't mean that it is a valid probability density function. Do you get me? So be very careful. First criteria must be fulfilled first. If first one is out, the whole thing is out. Are you clear? So you have to come in this order. This question want to mislead you, understand? Yeah.
Progress.
Number 4. Okay, you have to know that if you integrate x to the power half, correct? The result is x to the power 3 over 2 divided by 3 over 2. So this is 2 over 3. Power 3 over 2 will be x root x. Understand? So that is the first thing that you have to know. So now if I integrate from 0 to 4, a root x dx, the result must be 1. So this will be 2 over 3 x root x times a, you can put outside. 0 to 4 equal to 1. Okay, so a, you sub with 4. Take away sub with 0. Done? Then you can find your a. Understand? 16 over 3, a equal to 1. So a equal to 3 over 16. Okay? That is how it works.